by thy mercy, oh, deliver us, good Lord.
This particular video is an interaction with an article by Steve Bleaven, I guess is how you pronounce his name, of the Oregonian. It was published on Sunday, October 16th at 7:27 p.m. and updated a few hours later. The title of the article is Protesters Demonstrate Against Mars Hill Church in Southeast Portland. Black-clad demonstrators gathered in front of the Mars Hill Church in Southeast Portland this morning to protest the church's stance on homosexuality. About 20 protesters lined Southeast Taylor Street carrying banners and shouting obscenities as churchgoers left when the service ended. Now, if you don't know, Mars Hill Church was founded by Mark Driscoll. The home church is in Seattle, and they start a lot of satellite churches around the country. They hold to Reformed theology. It's a good church. But something a woman says, by the way, on the picture they have on this article, the one on the banner that these protesters are holding up, any fascist pro-queer. I'll put the article in the info box. But one one protester said this: "Shame on you bigots," one woman yelled at protesters as they left. "Shame on you homophobes. You're not welcome here. You're going to burn in hell." When given the chance to comment, she declined, like the coward she is. Hit and run artist. But look, this is what gets on my nerves about this. Number one, you use the phrase burn in hell. Considering the context and the church she was, outside of, protesting, she's using that obviously within a Judeo-Christian context. But she has no foundation to do so. None. That also implies that God is on her side, that the triune God of Scripture is on her side, and that he hates the ones in the church. But she has no basis for this. She's certainly not going to get it out of the Bible. Listen, whether you agree with Christian teaching or not, it states that God hates homosexuals. Not just the sin, but them, the sins they're, not just the sins they're committed, tongue-tied here, but the sinner themselves. Now, to be fair, in Psalms, it states that God hates the prideful, hates the deceiver, hates the bloodthirsty, the perverse. Now, that applies to all of us. Every single person. It states that God hates the workers of lawlessness, the person. For this article, I'm focusing in particular here on homosexuality, homosexuals. But God hates the sinner. His wrath is on them. But if you're going to use the phrase burn in hell, you need to have, it just doesn't make any sense. It's irrational. You're spouting off words that have no meaning and no foundation whatsoever, and you're using moral categories that imply that the people in the building, the Christians, are immoral. But what's your foundation? This is not a video defending Christianity here. I'm not laying down an apologetic defense for God and for his moral character. That's not the point of this video. The point is, if you're going to make comments like this, have some kind of foundation instead of being so irrational. And something else about this particular protest. How does it help your, as the banner they're holding up states, pro-queer cause by, as these people, it states in the article, as these people were leaving the service, they were shouting obscenities, even to kids. How does it help your pro-queer cause to shout F-bombs at 5-year-olds, at 7-year-olds, at infants, toddlers? How does that help? See, the issue here is the hate monger is not the people in the church in this instance. It's the pro-queer crowd. If you have somebody leaving church and stating that they are trying to express the love of Christ and trying to pay you respect, and your response to that is F you, who's the hate monger here? Really, by their actions, who's the hate monger? Who's the bigot? Who's the Christophobe? You know, if we're going to shout around a homophobe, then why not just be 5-year-old myself? You're nothing but a Christophobe. The mere mention of Christ sends you wearing black and shouting F-bombs at kids. That's the level of your Christophobia. It doesn't help your argument. Here's a book, real quick. If you want to learn more about this particular subject, see, hold it up. A Queer Thing Happened to America. It's by Michael Brown. Okay? It's a good book. If you're a Christian looking for more information on this issue, Michael Brown has about 1,500 notes. It is a well-researched, very well-researched book defending, making arguments for traditional marriage, making arguments, various arguments, refuting the I was born this way argument. As one chapter title suggests, gay is the new black. It is a thoroughly well-argued book, and if you're a Christian and want to learn more about the subject, it's a good book. If you're homosexual and you want to learn the arguments against you, instead of shouting these stupid comments like the protesters were, and you want some legitimate, you want to try and formulate some kind of legitimate argument, then that book's the one to read. Another book is by Christopher Yuan, who was homosexual himself. It's his biography. It's written by him and his mother. I've read it. It's wonderful. He was saved and has come out of homosexuality. It's a wonderful book. And for those homosexuals who feel enslaved, it's a good book. It shows that Christians aren't hateful, as the protesters were portraying. So this is irritating. Another debate that's also good to listen to is by Michael Brown himself, with a doctor, I believe it was Eric Smaw from Central Florida. I'm going on memory here. Just put in Michael Brown Smaw debate. I'll try and find it and provide the link in the info box as well for part 1. There's like 6 or 7 parts, and you can listen to all of it. Smaw is arguing for the pro-homosexual position, Brown for the pro-traditional marriage position, and Brown wipes the floor with him. Smaw is a lawyer, by the way. And it just goes to show you, I've yet to hear any legitimate arguments for the pro-marriage, for the pro-queer position, as they defined it themselves. Ever. Using diversity is a Christian category. And you can't use diversity based on postmodernism or secularism because you have no moral foundation at that point. It's just your opinion. Anyway, I hope this isn't too long. I hope you read the article. I hope you get the book. Like I said once again, Queer Thing Happened to America by Michael Brown, and also Christopher Yuan's book, which I have on my tablet. I can't technically show it to you, and I don't want to go through the problem of pulling it up, and even if I did, the screen's too bright. But it's by Christopher Yuan, Y-U-A-N. I'll try and provide a link in the info box there as well. Take care. It's been a while since I've done something like this, I guess, but it just got on my nerves. Have a good night.